Hi guys, my name is Gabrielle Robinson.
And my name is Vanessa Liu, and we are your co-hosts for the Life Unfiltered podcast. Before we begin today's episode, I just want to thank our viewers for listening and supporting us on our journey, and we hope you continue to stay tuned.
Yeah, so you might be wondering what our podcast is, because I would be wondering too. So basically what Ness and I wanted to do was break the silence and talk about things that are usually unheard of and give voices to people that we can't really hear all the time.
Just adding on to her, we want to support others. We want to talk about difficult conversations, advice to give others, and talk about student issues. And we plan to have guest speakers in the future, so stay tuned to that one. So let's begin with the introduction about us, so you know who we are. Gabby, go ahead. Talk about your hobbies, your goals, your extracurriculars.
Yeah, so starting off with hobbies, I like to paint and draw in my free time, which I wouldn't have found that out if I didn't take painting 1 at Troy Athens High School. So, yeah, I enjoy doing that. What about you, Nessa?
I also love doing art, and I usually don't really have that much time to do it, but I found time with clubs like National Art Honor Society, and I just love making time to do those little passions that I have, even amongst the busy life. And some other hobbies I have is I play golf. I started my sophomore year of high school, and I started because it was just a fun hobby that me and my friends wanted to get into, but I truly found a passion for this sport. And I just made so many good friends along the way. I love my coaches. And yeah, golf is just a really big part of me. I'm also a part of other extracurriculars like Student Equity Council. This is a club that we're both a part of.
Yeah.
And Diversity, Equity, Inclusion at Troy Athens High School. National Honor Society. We're both LEAP leaders to help freshman orientation and many more things. So I just love, overall, I love being a part of the community, being involved in school activities, and just meeting more people and making an impact. Yeah, so tell me more about you, Gabby.
Yes, so I am BDSA president along with Brennan Tucker. He also goes to Troy Athens High School. Basically for Black Student Alliance, what we want to do is bring everyone in the community together, and we have a lot of fun events coming up soon for the month of January as MLK Day, January 20th.
Yes, show up. We're having service projects, and we're doing fleece blanket making, hygiene kit packing, and so much more. So we hope to see you there, 8 o'clock, Troy Athens High School.
Yeah, and it's a big event. A lot of people in the community go for the city of Troy and throughout TSD, so we would love to see you there, and you can help us celebrate Martin Luther King. So yeah. Aside from that, though, I am a part of a lot of the clubs that Vanessa mentioned. We're both pretty high up in those clubs. We also are a part of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. Did you mention that a little bit? Yeah. So basically that's talking with teachers and talking about what we love, what we don't like in the school, and what we want to change. And they listen and they hear us out and try to make that change. So
yeah. And that is also a reason why we wanted to start this podcast, to talk about diversity in the Troy School District and how we can create a sense of community. So yeah, we hope to address more of those things on this podcast.
Yeah, it's definitely important to hear about and from different minorities and majorities in the school, because that's what makes community and belonging, and we want just to hear from all those voices. So soon we'll be sending out a Google form, and you can hear senior advice from the wise words of Vanessa and Gabrielle. Because we are young women, we have a lot of things to say, and then we also are seniors. We also are part of different clubs, and making a balance, and we're student athletes, so making a balance between all of that, we can provide a lot of advice for students from kindergarten, if they want to listen, up to 12th grade. So yeah.
So I want to hear more about your leadership and why you're good for this podcast. What qualifies you?
I think since a young age, I've always enjoyed leadership opportunities. I loved my voice being heard. I was not a young kid to play with toys. I would really much enjoy singing in front of people, and with my parents and stuff. So from a really young age, I really liked leadership and trying to give equity and inclusion for everyone that I'm nearby and around. So letting our voices be heard in this podcast, I think, is so important, especially with other students as well, because like I said, a lot of the things that students feel they can't really talk to anyone about, which is perfectly fine, and that's why we started this. So yeah. What about you, Nessa?
I feel like it's just like a topic that isn't talked about enough, like
Right.
diversity and inclusion. And there's just like a lot of people like I know don't feel like belonging or they feel like they're not being heard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just like a big reason why I wanted to be a part of this movement.
Yeah. Okay, so what else do you want to talk about?
Let's move on to today's topic about gratitude. So Gabby, tell me some of the experiences or knowledge that you've gained throughout your high school career or just like school overall in your life. Like what makes you grateful?
So this is kind of foreshadowing into our future episode, but something that I'm really grateful for is finding myself throughout high school. I feel like as a freshman, obviously everyone goes through that like that little awkward phase, like trying to see who you want to be, what your next couple like stages are in life, because high school, it's like a big transformation. So where was I going? Yeah, so
Many things to be grateful for, right?
so many things to be grateful for. I am a track athlete and I love my track coaches. I feel like outside of the sport, they have been there for me a lot. Also, I used to cheer for freshman and sophomore year, so I love my coaches for that as well. So I'm very grateful for that, and I'm grateful for the adults in my life in the school and outside of school that cared more about the academics. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely with the coaches. They make a big difference. Like, shout out Coach Cooper if you're listening to this. Having, like, such amazing, like, mentors in my life and even friends I've made throughout the years. Like, something really, like, I'm very grateful for. Yeah, what, like, experiences have you been grateful for that has shaped you to make you who you are?
I think honestly everything, like even the things that I didn't love about high school, I'm so very happy that I experienced them, as in like hardship with friends or like, you know, trying to get into certain things. I'm so thankful for every opportunity because no matter what, I've always learned from something. Do you know what I mean? And
100%, yeah.
so like even when things don't go your way, like as a young high school girl or like freshman, sophomore, whatever, it's really easy to just get in your head about a lot of the things that are going on and like feel very stressed out about it and think this is like the biggest thing in the world.
Yep.
But in the like grand scope, like scheme of things, it's like it's not really that deep.
I know, like in the
Honestly,
moment, you
yeah.
like you really feel like maybe it's the end of the world, like when it really isn't. And then at the end of everything, you kind of reflect back and you realize like all of these things have made you into who you are.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm so grateful for all the experiences that I've encountered because without them, I don't think that I'd be the person that I am today. So, and it's like you have to endure some hardships to build character. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
So,
yeah.
What about you?
Some activities and stuff that I'm grateful for is honestly like a lot of the extracurricular activities that I've done, like golf, for example. I'm so grateful for my golf team. Things like student council that I'm on. I've met such amazing people with all the different clubs I'm in. Like just like such a diverse group of people that I wouldn't meet like at school or like during lunch. You know, like just in school. I wouldn't meet, and I just get to meet like so many different people, learn so many unique things, and like see all these different perspectives because of the different clubs that I do. So that's just like something I'm really grateful for.
And I'm very thankful for like the diversity, equity, inclusion, student equity council, leadership advisory board, all those clubs. Because like you said, like the people that I meet, I would never have met them in school.
Right.
And I feel like hearing their voices and like kind of bonding on like similar high school experiences, that's so important to just hear how everyone feels about certain topics and like something that Nessa's passionate about or like that she might see in school I might have never witnessed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like listening to that and like wow, like I didn't even think of that. Like hearing other people's perspectives, not only does that like make you more aware of what goes on around school, but it makes you more understanding of like what other people are going through. And I really love that those experiences have like enlightened me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And shout out to my track coaches. Like I know she gave a shout out to Coach Cooper, but I have a lot of you guys. So if you're listening, Coach Cook, Coach Cole,
Okay,
Coach Hayes, Hurdle Coach Cook, Coach Spencer, Coach Dufresne, like all you guys. I love you guys so much. Like you helped me throughout a lot. So just because you gave a shout out, I want them to feel heard too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. They need a.
Yeah.
100%. So let's move on to some inspiring quotes that have stuck to you.
Okay, so I wrote down a quote by Kristen Armstrong, and it says, "When we focus on gratitude, the tide of disappointment goes out and the tide of love rushes in." I feel like that's so important because, like I was saying earlier, as a high school girl or just like high school in general, like a high schooler, so many times like it's so easy to focus on like everything bad that's going on in your life. You know what I mean? Like I got a bad grade. I don't want to get up at 7:20.
Like my friend, like we're in like this thing, like this is going on, this drama, like it's just like a lot.
You know what I mean? And it's like when you focus on like, yeah, I've gotten C's on tests before. You know what I mean? Like I've done bad on tests before, but life goes on. You know what I mean? Like if you do bad on something, if you're having a bad day, it's not that like, you know, I don't think that people should like stay and sit on that. Do you know what I mean?
I
like
know, yeah. 100%.
Growth comes from things, and I feel like if you focus on what's going good on your life, you can really change like how your day is going instead of like just sitting and like letting that fester. Do you know what I mean?
I agree with that. And that leads me to my quote that says, gratitude turns what we have into enough, which is like very big on what you're saying of like your life, you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond to it.
Right.
And your life, your reality is your mindset. So if you get a bad grade, like you can be upset about it.
Right.
Obviously, like your feelings are valid, but you can learn from the experience. You can study harder. Or another example, like maybe you're stuck in traffic and you're like, wow, like you're just complaining about it. You're being like really negative about it, but you could have seen it as like a situation of like something better. Like, oh, like it was delayed for me for a reason. Maybe I would have gotten into like an accident. Like, you know what I mean? Like
I know.
Changing your mindset.
Yeah, because so many times, like when I'm in the car with my family, I'd be like, oh my gosh, the traffic. But then we'll drive by and it'll be an accident. And I'm not saying like, oh, you know, yay accident, because obviously like it's really devastating. But like being in that traffic, that could have been that person. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's like everything happens for a reason. And I feel like once you decide to like understand that, like your life can be so much more fulfilling if you just, you know, learn to love what you have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. So just that example kind of shows you how important mindset is. Instead of like seeing everything for like the negative, like why is this happening to me, just try to see it for like, how is this helping me? How is this situation helping me? Why is it happening to me, like in a good way? And see how you can grow from it.
And something that like you might find frustrating could be something that another person like would wish to have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of like school. Like it's normal for us to be like, oh my gosh, like I have school, like I have to study, but like people from different parts of the world don't have that privilege. So it's just like that mindset switch to finding gratitude in everything in your life is really important.
So Nessa, just wondering, like, how do you practice gratitude? I know, like, obviously you love practicing gratitude. Can you share with us some
Yeah, of course. So a big way that I practice gratitude is journaling. And I know, like, you hear journaling this, journaling that. Like, it's kind of like a hard habit to like continue, because I've had a few friends who try to start journaling, but it never became something consistent. But I made it consistent because I just realized like it was such a big part of my mental health and like what like cleared my head of everything that was like drowning on me. Like I could reflect on my day. I could remember what like made, you know, what was important to me, instead of like worrying about like school or worrying about like these chores and like tasks I had to do. Like I could write everything down and then just reflect on the good that happened to me, because it's really easy for us to like brush off the good and worry about the bad. So for me, journaling like just before I sleep at the end of the day and like remembering what good that happened to me.
Yeah. That's really nice.
How about you, Gabby? How do you practice gratitude?
So I used to be a journaler. I'm definitely one of the people that did not commit to that. Hey, it's hard. Okay?
It is hard.
Like,
yeah.
It's definitely hard. And Nessa is a very committed individual. Like
Thank
anything
you.
that she sets her mind to is gonna happen. Okay.
Thanks, Gabby.
So, but for me, I feel like honestly, it's just talking to my mom. Like whenever anything good or bad happens, I'm like, Mom, guess what happened today? Like, you know.
Aww,
So yeah, I love my mom. Shout out to her. So she's kind of the way I practice gratitude. Also, I love to volunteer with clubs and stuff.
Yeah.
So NHS, BSA, Student Equity Council, it's just like a way of giving back and like knowing that I'm a privileged individual, like being able to give back to others. It just makes me like feel so thankful for everything that I have.
Oh, 100%. I feel the same exact way. I feel like giving back to like the community, like just volunteering for events, not even for like school hours, not to get like anything out of it, just helping others. You just feel so grateful that you're like making an impact, like you're doing something for others, not just for yourself.
What's your favorite volunteering event that you've done?
Ooh, that's kind of hard. Ooh, there's like so many. I love I used to do this thing where I helped at the Troy Public Library, and I did it every Saturday, and I helped like sort the books out, and like I met so many amazing people there. Like
Really?
not even just like helping sort out the books. It was like the people I've connected with, students from different schools, Troy High, IA, and not the teachers, the advisors, the other older, adults running the thing.
Yeah,
So
like
it was
members of
just
the community.
exactly. It
Yeah.
was just amazing meeting so many people. So I feel like being able to help out the community and also meeting like so many different people like made it so like memorable to me, and that's why I love volunteering.
Yeah. It's also like the sense of, as a high schooler, obviously we have a lot of things going on. The fact that you can like give up your time, like I give up my time to volunteer and help others. Like I think that's so beautiful because we could be doing anything else. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like we want to help people, and I just love that. Like, and I love every other high schooler that can find it time in their day to volunteer as well.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have like your favorite event that you've done, volunteered at?
My favorite, does it have to be like Troy Athens? or
Oh
anything?
no, anything what?
When I was younger, like super young, there was something called like St. Hugo something. It was like, I was so young, so I can't even remember. But it was like we were making cans and stuff for like people in shelters and like giving back to them. And I just thought that was so fulfilling because being, like I said, like you don't think about like when you go home, like, yeah, I have a bed to sleep in. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I have food to eat. So like when you're helping others and they're so thankful and like you just get to hear their stories, hear like, what they've been through and stuff, you can like be a listening ear to them. I just feel like that's so amazing, and I love that, and I love like getting to know them. And I did, like I said, that happened when I was still young, and I still remember that like vividly. So
That's
yeah.
so amazing because you saw it from like someone else's perspective.
Yeah.
And I feel like seeing it from like people less privileged and seeing their life, because I feel like we tend to want more, and that kind of loops us back to my quote of gratitude turns what we have into enough. We usually want more. We strive for goals, which is perfectly fine. Like wanting more money, wanting more, higher status, wanting this and that. But we also have to take a time to realize what we do have and what we, should be
Right.
grateful for.
And then like also being present in the now. Like you said, goals, all that is like perfect. It's amazing. But there are so many things that you have that you probably don't even think about. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's why we want our podcast to be on like gratitude, because there's so many things that you may not even like think about, but it's
Yeah.
so like amazing that you have access to it.
And I feel like you pass many small things throughout your life that you don't really realize you should be grateful for. Like for example, I was driving home the other day, and like it like just freshly snowed, and getting home safe was so grateful for that. And like doing well on a test that you didn't really study hard for. Like we kind of like glance over that, but I feel like we should take the time to remember like all these little things that like were good in our days.
Yeah. So do you want to talk a little bit about growth and fixed mindset?
Yeah. So growth and fixed mindset. Gratitude is heavily related to a growth mindset, because having the mentality of accepting challenges, learning from your mistakes, like welcoming these uncomfortable situations and learning and growing from them is so important. And then you can have gratitude for your journey and not see like, setbacks as something bad.
Right. I feel like the growth and fixed mindset topic, I learned that in literally elementary school. And like I said, I'm a senior in high school, so a very long time ago. But I learned that in third grade. And I remember it was like this big thing, like growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. We had like a whole activity on like what a growth mindset is, what a fixed mindset is. And like learning that difference all like that long ago, it was still so impactful. And basically like a growth mindset, instead of like saying, which like this is like a fix, if you're like, I can't do this, like everything's hard, that's like more of a fix. But growth is like, okay, this is coming towards me, what can I do to fix it? You know what I mean? Not thinking like everything is like the end of the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
more thinking more positively. And that's what we're talking about, like gratitude. Like when you think more positively about certain situations, like your personality, the way that you live life can be so much greater if you just think more positive about the situations that are occurring.
Yeah, and I just want to list out some characteristics of people with growth mindsets. So some are embracing challenges, learning from mistakes, seeing effort as a path to mastery, being resilient, and finding inspiration from others.
So can you talk about, like, elaborate any of those topics and how it pertains to your life, or like any, growth that you found individually?
Yeah, so I think definitely learning from my mistakes. Like learning from maybe bad habits that I had. Just like, as I'm going to think of an example and you can take it away and give me an example from you.
Okay. I think controlling about how you respond to a situation is a way of growth when I tell you growth, okay, like it was growth because when I was younger, like if something happened that made me irritated, I'd be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I feel like that personal growth, and then maybe that comes with like maturity, aging, whatever, like knowing that when someone treats you poorly, like there's a certain way that you can react to a situation and not escalate it. Like that's very important, which is also like learning how to talk to people, one of our future episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think definitely like trying to learn how to control and like communicate effectively was definitely something that I needed to learn, and I'm so happy that I learned it because like now when things happen that don't go my way, that I don't like, I know how to handle it a lot better.
Yeah. So I brainstormed something. I think finding inspiration from others is a really big, important one that resonates with me because I used to be very impatient. Like I would be like, oh, why is this taking so long? Like just like complaining overall. And I have this really good friend who would always see the positive from it. Shout out Diana DeLuizio.
Ooh, I love Diana. She's such a
Shout
sweetheart.
out Diana.
Yeah.
Yep. So I remember thinking so negatively, but she would be there seeing the positive from it. Like, oh wow, like we're blessed to have this, like we have this going on, like all these positive things, when I was kind of like being impatient or I was just like not seeing the positivity in like situations. So definitely being inspired from others like Diana is really good and very big for a growth mindset.
Yeah, I think also like just surrounding yourself by positive people can really determine like how your day will go. Like for example, like being around people like Diana or like people like you, like when I'm around positive people, I honestly feel better. And it's like it's way easier to be nice and be positive if you're around people that actually like fulfill you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I've like been around people who complain and are like really negative, and it just kind of
like
feels
pulls
draining.
you down. Yeah, because it's like, oh, I have to go to second hour. Oh, like, okay,
yeah, it's
you
like,
know,
oh, I have this to do. Like just like complaining over and over, and it's like you have so much more going on too. Like and just being around like people who talk down about themselves too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm ugly or I'm not smart or this and that. It's just like you don't feel good in that environment.
Yeah.
So be that type of person who lifts other people up. Be that person who motivates others to do better. Be that person that people are inspired to become.
And if a person is complaining and you don't complain with them, they'll stop. That's like my biggest piece of advice. Like if Nessa's over here like, oh my gosh, I have to do this, I have to do
Gabby,
this.
like we have this podcast to do.
And I'm like, girl, it's a podcast. Like you're gonna listen, all that, you know, like she's more likely to stop complaining about everything that's happening that's bad, and she'll be like, okay, like, you know what?
This is a privilege.
Yeah,
like, I love it here.
Yeah, like, you know what? So that's definitely one of my advice. Like surround yourself by people who love you and teach you how to love yourself better. So
yeah, and adopt that growth mindset.
Right.
All right, so let's go to our conclusion.
Yeah, guys, this is a nice talk.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you guys for joining, listening to us. But I want you also to hopefully stream on our other platforms. You want to talk about like our handles and stuff?
Yeah, so we are on Spotify. We are also on Instagram at life.unfilteredpod. And we're also on the Creative Guild. So join us on any of those platforms and also send in your Q&A questions on our Instagram.
Please, because that's going to be one of our new segments. And we would love to give you advice as much as we can. Like we said, we're very wise women. We would love to talk to you about whatever you want to know. Even if it's something as little as like, how do I balance friendships? Because that may be like a big thing to you. If you need help, we got you.
Yeah, and if you have any requests for any guests to come on, or if you want to be a guest, then let us know on our Instagram. So yeah, we just want to thank you guys again for tuning in. And we're your co-hosts, Vanessa Liu
and Gabrielle Robinson. And
always remember to embrace the mess and live life unfiltered. Bye, guys.
Bye.